Everybody, I want to say thank you and such a huge honor to be here and speak about leadership, worth, and value, especially on Martin Luther King Day, where we are honoring who I believe is one of the greatest leaders in history. And so, again, thank you, Seneca, for the huge opportunity. I'm very honored. And I believe in the mission of building better students. And students, I want to thank you for showing up. And I want to remind you that every day you write history in your story. And this day that we have in front of us, we will never have the opportunity to live this day over again. And so I just want to say thank you, students, for writing history today that I think is going to catapult you in your life and leadership forward. You could be in a lot of different places, but you have chosen to invest in yourself. And I just want to remind you that you are worth it. Always lean into opportunities to invest in yourself, because the more you grow and the more you go next level, the more you can serve other people, the more you can empower other people, and the more that you can change the world. My name is Benjamin Lundquist, and it's an honor to be here. I'm a father, I'm a husband. I formerly was a high school athlete. I was a college athlete. I also run a podcast that is being downloaded in over 105 countries around the world. And I speak all around the globe, virtually and in person, about leadership and to audiences just like you. So it's an honor to be here. What I want to do in the time that I have is I want to remind you that you are a leader right now, not that you're going to be a leader in the future, that you are a leader right now. And I want to share with you 3 essentials to leading yourself well so you really can impact other people and change the world. And so first thing I want to do is I want to define leadership. Leadership is not about positions. Leadership is not about titles. Leadership is not about stages. Leadership is about influence. And I want to remind you that every single one of you, every student, that you have an incredible influence. And because you have influence, you are already a leader. I want to say that again. You have influence. And because you have influence, you are already a leader. You got influence in your school, in your community, in your church, in your family, on your social media platforms, in your academic settings, on your athletic teams. But you have incredible influence, and that influence is what makes you a leader. So the idea is, are you going to be a great leader? And are you going to use your influence for greatness? And it's greatness that's already inside of you. And so remember, today, if you walk away with anything, believe that you are a leader today. Not that you're going to be a leader in 10 or 20 years, that you are a leader today. And there is no better time to start leading with greatness than right now. So I want to tell you a quick story. I grew up playing high school football. If any of you are involved in athletics, maybe drop a little comment in the chat. You play football, basketball, soccer, baseball, whatever you do. But I played football in high school in Southern Florida. And so I remember one game in particular from my high school career that stands out above all other games that I have. And we started off this game and our coach pulled us in the locker room, and the coach said, "Benjamin, team, you got to believe that you can win. And this game is all we have in front of us. Don't get distracted by anything else, but think about the game that is in front of you." So we went out, we played the first half. We went back into the locker room at halftime. We heard another inspirational speech. We went back out and started the second half. Our team was down by about a touchdown. I was playing defense in a position called linebacker. So my job was to stop anybody with short passes or anybody who was trying to run across the line of scrimmage. And so as I'm playing linebacker in this particular play, all of a sudden there is impact at the line, and the running back from the offense, the opposing team, got hit right at the line, and all of a sudden the football just rolled right to my feet. So you think about it, it's like the football was gift wrapped and given right to me. So here I am playing defense, the football is right below me. And I remember thinking, I just didn't think it was going to be this easy. And I had to tell myself in that moment, Benjamin, you got one thing you got to do, pick up that ball and you better run. And so I picked up the ball and I began to run. Now, keep in mind, I was 70 yards away from our end zone. So I pick up this ball and I start running, and immediately as the offense turned into defense, I got pounded. And so as I got pounded, I began to pivot to the right and I began to pivot to the left, and I'm bouncing off people, and I see this gap opening, and I just begin to take off, and I just begin to run, and I'm ripping down the sidelines, and I end up going all the way 70-yard fumble return for a touchdown. I got into the end zone and I thought, I've got to do a celebration dance. But then I realized I don't have any rhythm and I don't know how to dance. And so I just started bouncing around all awkward. And I thought, if there was anything I should have prepped for ahead of time, I should have prepped for my victory dance, because I knew that I was victorious before I even made that touchdown. So I get to the end zone. I do this hodgepodge, embarrassing victory dance. And I hear the announcer over the loudspeaker. He says, I want to congratulate James Hill for that incredible touchdown, 70-yard fumble return for a touchdown. And I said, wait a minute, that's not my name. My name is Benjamin Lundquist. So think about this. The only fumble return for a touchdown in my high school football career, and the announcer calls the wrong name. And so echoing around the stadium is somebody else's name. And I thought to myself, my moment is stolen. How could this happen? How could somebody else's name get called when here I am, just having made this great play? And I see over on the sidelines, the name that was called, James Hill. That kid wasn't even in the game. So that kid was on the sidelines. His mom heard his name over the loudspeaker. She stands up on a chair and starts screaming, that's my son, that's my son. And I thought to myself, your son ain't even in the game. Like, your son's not even playing. And all of a sudden I look up at the stands, and I'm a little bit defeated in this moment. So I look up at the stands, and that's when I see it unfold. My dad, who stands at about 6'5", he stood up off the bleachers. He turned toward the announcer booth, and here's what I knew was going to happen. Dad was about to set the story straight. Dad was about to make it right. So my dad walks down the bleacher. He turns into the announcer booth. I see his 6'5" frame leaning into the announcer booth, and he says a couple things to him. And all of a sudden, the announcer comes back on the loudspeaker and says, we made a mistake. That touchdown was scored by Benjamin Lundquist, not James Hill. Congratulations. I celebrated what I could celebrate. The moment wasn't quite what it could have been. And as we drove home, I asked my dad, I said, when you leaned into that booth, what did you say? And he said, I leaned in and I looked at the announcer and I said, I know who that kid is, because that kid is my son, and his name is Benjamin Lundquist. And I know that because he is related to me. So my dad set that story straight. And I want to share with you 3 things that I have learned about leading yourself well and being a great leader. The first thing is this: you have to remember who you are. And there are going to be people in your life who drop titles over you. They speak words over you that are not who you are. They may say things to try to undermine your worth and value. Lance was talking about worth and value a few minutes ago. You have to remember who you are, and you've got to remember the worth and value that you have, and you've got to remember whose you are. And so that's the first thing I want to remember, is all throughout your leadership journey, your identity is going to be attacked. You're going to have people say things. You're going to have a comment on social media that makes you question who you are. You have to know who you are, and you are a leader called to do great things with the unique gifts and the abilities that you have. So go back to the fact that greatness is already in you, that you have worth and value already, and never forget who you are, no matter what anybody else says. Second thing I want to share with you is this: there are times in your life when you're going to have to pivot, and you've got to ask the question, as a leader, is this working? And leaders have to be able to answer that question honestly. If it's not working, you've got to pivot and change direction. If it's not working, you got to change your angle. If it's not working, you have to do something different. But here's what leaders don't do. Leaders do not continue doing things that are not working. So as I picked up that football and I got hit, that direction wasn't working anymore. And I had to change directions. You are going to have to pivot as a leader over your entire life. Be willing to answer that question honestly. Is this working? Is what I'm doing working? And if it's not, you've got to be willing to pivot and change directions. So always know who you are. Change directions as needed, as many times as you need to. And last thing I want to share with you is this. You got to keep going. You're going to get hit by life. Life is going to come at you. Sometimes you anticipate it. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere, but life is going to hit you. You got to make the commitment, even before the hit comes, that you're going to keep going. Even before the hit comes, that you're going to get back up. Decide in your mind that you are going to get up and you are going to keep going. You're going to get up time and time again, and you're going to keep moving forward. So effective leadership, remember, you're already a leader. Drop something in the chat if you receive that today. You are already a leader, not in the future, today. You are already a leader. 3 things I don't want you ever to forget. Remember who you are. Remember who you are, and make as many pivots in your life as you need to. If you are doing things that may not be working, change direction and commit that you are not going to give up, that you're going to keep getting back up over and over and over, and you're going to keep moving forward. My name is Benjamin Lundquist. Be blessed today on Martin Luther King Day, and that's my time.
Amen.